boys won't hesitate to run up on your boys. 엉덩이 빵빵빵 남자들은 탐탐탐 내 입술 냠냠냠 어디 가도 당당당 등장은 짠짠짠 뛰자 뛰자 팡팡팡 디스코 팡팡팡 Hello.
The Malay English accent in Malaysia refers to English being spoken by native Malay speakers, and it is a distinct accent influenced by the phonetic patterns and pronunciation tendencies of Malay language. The Malay English accent can manifest in various ways, including pronunciation, intonation, rhythm, and vocabulary choices. It is important to note that the Malay English accent can vary among individuals based on the exposure towards English language. Some Malaysians may have a stronger Malay accent, while some may have a neutral accent or maybe even an international English accent based on their exposure. That is all from me. Thank you.
The term Manglish is first recorded in 1989. Initially, Singlish and Manglish were essentially the same language, when both Singapore and the states now comprising Peninsular Malaysia were under various forms of direct and indirect British rule, though not forming a single administrative unit except between 1963 and 1965. In Old British Malaya, English was the language of the British administration, whilst Malay was the lingua franca of the street. English as spoken in Malaysia is based on British English and called Malaysian English. British spelling is generally followed. The use of such terms and the colloquial use of English reflects the fact that the English used in Malaysia has developed its own characteristics since the 18th century. Although the term Malaysian English is sometimes used to refer only to the local form of English, it is actually an umbrella term for all the varieties of English used in Malaysia. Both educated and local or colloquial forms of English are used in Malaysia depending on the context and the person being spoken to. Malaysians also speak English in a variety of accents. The use of English in present-day Malaysia traces its beginnings back to the British presence in the streets settlements of Penang, Singapore, and Malacca from the 18th century. English was used in public administration, the law courts, and business. And increasing numbers of English medium schools were also established during the British colonial period. Many of these were Christian mission schools. When Malaysia became independent in 1957, the Malay language was made the national and official language. Malay began replacing English in public administration and the courts as well, replacing English as the medium of instruction in national schools and public university. Today, English remains a compulsory subject up to the 5th form in secondary schools. There is now an increasing number of international schools, private universities where English is the medium of instructions.
So the first one that I found is the difference in the varieties of pronouncing the letter E, such as in the words fillet. As you guys can hear, the speaker's pronunciation is fillet, while the received pronunciation should be fillet. The difference found is in the second syllable let. The speaker pronounced the letter E as the schwa sound, but according to RP, it should be the short vowel sounds E. I think this tends to happen because the Malay accent tend to not be aware that the letter E can be pronounced differently in English, since in the Malay language, one letter often can only be pronounced one way.
Fillet.
Fillet. Fillet.
Next is the difference in pronouncing the amount of syllable in a word, such as in the word pressure. As you guys can hear, the speaker's pronunciation is pressure, while the received pronunciation is pressure. The difference found is in the vowel in the second syllable sure. The speaker uses the long vowel U on the second syllable, but according to received pronunciation, they use the schwa sound. The speaker also pronounces the E letter in the second syllable, leading her to pronounce 3 syllables in this word when it was supposed to be just 2. This case often occurs in the Malay accent, as they might think that sure needs to be pronounced as 2 syllables, sure, instead of 1, sure.
Pressure.
Pressure. Pressure.
The word that I choose is colleague. For Malay accent, it is pronounced as college, while received pronunciation is pronounced as colleague. The first syllable ko remain the same between Malay accent and British accent. The following sounds pronounced by the speaker is short vowel a in the second syllable, making a sound like a in the word they or say. For British accents, the long vowel e present after consonant l in the second syllable. The second point for Malay accent is the speaker also pronounce voiceless consonant sh at the end of the word, producing a sound like sh. Meanwhile, received pronunciation have consonant z occur at the end of British accent. This represent the letter S in colleagues.
College.
Colleague.
The next word that I choose is develop. In Malay accent, it is pronounced as develop, while in British accent, it is pronounced as develop. The first syllable in Malay accent, which is D, pronounced with the word E, while in British accent, uses a short vowel E. The second syllable V, ver, pronounced with the vowel R in the Malay accent, hence making a sound similar to word father, A in word father, while British accent is pronounced with vowel E. The speaker pronounced the third syllable le with vowel O, similar to the O in the sound above, while in British accent it ends with vowel sound E.
Develop.
Develop.
I'm going to explain about the characteristic of consonants. First thing first is the list of consonant words. First words are place and plays. In English sounds, we use the sounds z, while in Malay accents, we use the sound s. Next, for the words brother and further. In English sounds, we use the, while in Malay accents, we use the, which is the voice the, and a lot thinner compared to the in English sounds.
I'm going to talk about the difference in pronunciation of the word drawer. Okay, this is our transcription for speaker's pronunciation and receive pronunciation. Okay, the difference in pronunciation is found through the consonant w at the middle of the word. The speakers pronounce the consonant w in the word, but compared to the received pronunciation, it was supposed to be silent or very vague. This situation might happen to non-native speakers, as they assume the consonant w at the middle needs to be voiced. The consonant sound w in the drawer should be silent, as the word only contains one syllable.
Drawer.
Draw.
Topic is the difference in pronunciation of the word plumber. Okay, this is our transcription for speaker's pronunciation and receive pronunciation. As you can see, there is a little bit of differences between these two. The difference in pronunciation is found in the second syllable ber. The speaker voiced the consonant b, which is located in the middle of the word. According to the received pronunciation, the consonant b should be silent and not voiced.
Plumber.
Plumber.
So, the conclusion from this video is Malay accent is a form of English used and spoken in Malaysia. Sometimes, it is quite difficult for native speakers of the English language to understand what is actually being said at times.